sad for a Monday morning. How are we, guys? That's better. It's always the second time. Sorry, you're still having your chats and all that sort of stuff. Hey. Okay, well, I'm Naomi Andrew. I'm the Creative Programs Lead here at APRA AMCOS. I am so excited to have you all here today for Regional Sessions 2026, and I'd love to extend a very warm welcome to you all. Now, as a Butchulla woman from Gari, I'd like to acknowledge that as visitors on this land, it is cultural practice for us to acknowledge and pay respects to the traditional owners, the Wadi Wadi people of the Darrell Nation. We acknowledge their unending connection to the land and pay our respects to the ancestors, elders here and in spirit, and the emerging leaders. I'd also like to acknowledge all the cultural backgrounds of everybody gathered here today. And I'm honoured now to introduce Auntie Jodie Stewart to welcome us to country.
Thanks, Naomi. Nagambi, Walawani. Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Jodie Stewart. I am a traditional owner. I am a descendant of the Wadi Wadi people of the Darrell Nation. I'm also a descendant of the Walbunja people of the Yuin Nation on the far south coast. I'd like to acknowledge and pay our respects to the Wadi Wadi people of the Darrell Nation, past, present and future generations. I'd also like to acknowledge the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here today. I hope you all enjoy today and have a wonderful day with everybody and just do your thing. Nagambi, welcome and thank you.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Now, on behalf of APRA AMCOS, welcome to the Regional Sessions presented by APRA AMCOS and proudly supported by Sound New South Wales. Kiama is our third stop on our 5-event tour around New South Wales, and we're so excited to be here with you all. Now, for anyone who isn't entirely sure who we are, APRA AMCOS supports music creators by helping manage copyright, making sure you get paid royalties when your music is used, and supporting your professional development through programs and events like this one. And a big milestone for us, this year we've just turned 100, which is pretty bloody awesome. Yeah, round of applause. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I'm the Creative Programs Lead at APRA AMCOS, and my role is all about supporting the design and the delivery of programs, events, and initiatives that support music creators at different stages of their careers, from workshops and panels like today, to mentoring, networking, and professional development opportunities. We created the Regional Sessions as a high-impact day to foster creativity, connections, and industry knowledge at a crucial time for anyone pursuing music. As the music industry continues to face adversity, the skills that go into writing the songs that connect and endure are more important and vital than ever. If you're not already a member and you'd like to get involved, joining APRA AMCOS is completely free. And I'll be around all day and at the networking drinks later, so please come and have a chat with me if you'd like to know a bit more. A few other good things, if you're a member or if you're thinking about becoming one, these are some good things to know. We have a super slick APRA AMCOS app. Just search for it in the App Store or Google Play. You can submit your performance reports and overseas reports through the app or online, which helps make sure you get paid for your live performances. There's also a new resources section on our website packed with practical tips about the music industry. And while you're there, you can keep an eye on APRA AMCOS opportunities, including grants, funding, and programs like Insights webinars, Connect sessions, coming to every capital city this year, the 23% mentorship for women and gender diverse music creators, song hubs, and more. Okay, we're going to do the boring stuff now, a little bit of housekeeping. We'll kick off shortly for our In Conversation session, followed by our panel discussion, and then our workshop session, which will happen this afternoon. We're so lucky to have two Music New South Wales regional coordinators here with us today, Sam Reese and Cody Munro. Can you give us a wave? Sorry, I said the boring stuff, but that's like the toilets and lunch. This is not boring. This is really important. I should have looked at the dot points before I said that, sorry. So that's not boring, that's really important. So they'll be around here today. You can meet with them during the lunch break, and when it comes time to grab your lunch, head for a quick session with Sam and Cody. The team from your local station, Kiama Community Radio, are here today. Can you give us a wave? That's Gabby and Madeline down the back. And they're here today and big supporters of local music, so please go and say hello when you can. They'll be in the foyer throughout the day, and they'd love to hear more about you and what you're up to and share your music on air, or even they've said this morning they'd love to have some of you come in and do interviews on the air. So that'd be fantastic. Have a chat with them, see what we can get sorted for you. The bathrooms are at the back of the room, down the stairs. If you need help getting downstairs, there is a lift. I think men's are on the left, women's are on the right. And fire exits. I didn't talk to someone about the fire exits, but there will be exit signs on the doors. You can see a little green man. If there is a fire, please run out of those doors. Not screaming, don't run, walk. So. You will have the event's timing for today on the back of your lanyards, and you can find the workshop sessions that you're in there as well. They should be written on there for you. Event staff can be identified by black lanyards. Please approach staff if you have any questions. And if you're not an APRA MCOS member and you're keen to join, again, it's free. Talk to anyone with these black lanyards today if you want a little bit more information. I encourage you all to join us for the final session today at the Grand Hotel, which is the live performances and networking portion of the event. You can have a chat and debrief with fellow delegates and speakers and have a bite to eat and something to drink. It's all on us. Now, before we jump into the in-conversation session, I just quickly wanted to let you know about Support Act. Does anybody here know who Support Act is? A few show of hands, that's awesome. Okay, so Support Act is Australia's music industry charity supporting the mental health and well-being of people working across music, including songwriters, producers, and composers. They understand the realities of music work, creative highs, uncertainty, pressure, and often working independently. Support Act exists to make sure there is help where it's needed. They have a wellbeing helpline, which is free, confidential counselling and available 24/7. Crisis relief in the form of short-term financial assistance to help musicians through life's hardships. First Nations support that is culturally informed and culturally safe, giving access to the wellbeing helpline and financial assistance, as well as mental health programs. If you want to find a little bit more info about Support Act or their programs, please visit supportact.org.au. Okay, time for some audience participation. So before we start, let's get a feel for who our audience is today. Can you please put your hand up if you are a songwriter? Fabulous. If you are a producer? Awesome. Both? Something else? Juggler? Aerialist? Welcome anyway if you're a juggler or aerialist. Now hands up if you're an emerging artist and you're at the beginning of your music career. If you've been creating music for 2 to 3 years. Yeah, if you're mid-career and you've been creating music for 5 years. More. Fantastic. Well, welcome to everybody here today. We're very, very excited to have you here. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce the In Conversation part of today's program. I'd like to introduce Ash McGregor, who is speaking with Heide Peverelle today. Ash is an Australian music aficionado. Over the course of her career, her mission has always been focused on getting great music heard, which has seen her become a widely lauded voice in the industry. Previous host of Triple J's Australian music show, Home and Host, Ash has helped discover countless local artists and launch careers globally. Now hosting the new music podcast, Listen Up with Ash McGregor, Ash continually creates space for all genres and backgrounds to be heard, bringing artists' stories to life across platforms to help connect them with music lovers far and wide. A multi-talented presenter, host, and music programmer, her passion has resonated across continents, having previously held roles across music, radio, and live events at MTV, Nickelodeon, Global Radio London, Nova, 4ZZZ, and CFM, just to name a few. A die-hard local music fan, her knack for uncovering the best up-and-comers and sharing the music stories you need to hear has won her a legion of passionate followers. Please help me in welcoming Ash to the stage.
Are we on? Yay! Hi everyone, how are we feeling? Yeah, good. I'm excited for this chat today. This is going to be really interesting, especially having so many songwriters in the room and so many emerging artists today. I am joined by Heide Peverelle. This is one third of Folk Bitch Trio. Does everyone know Folk Bitch Trio? Yes. Is anyone new to Folk Bitch Trio? Oh, you're in for a treat. They are out in Melbourne, as you can tell by the title. Indie folk is really their bag, and they are doing just incredible things in the scene and in international light. Very well known for their tight harmonies and very confessional songwriting. It's very honest. It's the kind of music that's very laid, and you've got to listen to it multiple times to get the full story out of the songs. Last year they released their debut album, and that just threw them into the international light. They were nominated for 3 ARIAs, an Australian Music Prize. Right now, they're shortlisted for the APRA Awards in April as well, which is very, very exciting. They've shared stages with artists like Courtney Barnett, Julia Jacqueline, Alex G. The list goes on and on and on. So you're going to get a lot out of this chat. We're going to chat about Heidi's start in the music industry. We'll hear about the craft, how they all came about and really took to the international light. So can you please welcome Heidi to stage? Heide Peverelle. Keep it going. Yay! All right, and we're going to do some questions at the end as well. So if you have any burning questions for Heidi, we'll do about 15 minutes of questioning. So keep them to yourself and we'll pass the mic around at the end. Heidi.
Hi.
Welcome.
What is this on?
Yeah, you're on.
Hi.
Might need to turn up just a little bit though. I feel like it's a little bit
I
quiet.
can be a bit quiet.
Yeah, nice. All right, well, Heidi, let's take it back to the very beginning. Do you remember your first foray into music? When did you first get into it?
I think when I was a kid, I really liked songwriting and just singing. My grandma introduced me to musical theatre. So
You're a musical theatre kid.
sort of. I was really into Cats, the musical, when I was a kid. But then that kind of dissipated, and I was very into just singing and writing songs on the piano when I was like 10 or so. Yeah.
Yeah, and then did you continue that through school?
No, I think I got, when you become, like a teenager and then you get a bit shy, I got really shy and then just went internal and didn't want to kind of be outgoing at all. So I stopped doing that. And then I think I hit about like 16 or 17 and then started writing pretty bad songs with my friend Clem. And then I started sharing songs with my now bandmates, Gracie and Jeannie. Yeah.
So were they also in music at the same time as you? Like, how did you all connect?
We went to a school that had a really good music program in Melbourne, and we were all kind of in choirs together and like little vocal groups. I stopped doing that when I was about 16, and those guys continued and studied music in BCE. And then, I think we were best friends, and I shared a song that I had written with Jeannie, my bandmate, and then it kind of rolled on from there.
And when you first started, were you like, this is just a hobby, we're just going to start making music together?
Yeah. There was it was just for fun, absolutely.
So when did you become Folk Pitch Trio?
Today. No, I think we picked the name. We didn't really even try and pick the name even. It just, my bandmate Jeannie texted me and she said, do you want to be in a folk bitch trio where we sing songs, and that was it. The name stuck. Yeah.
That's interesting. I always wonder about bands that have it's not controversial because you're owning the word bitch in this, but I always wonder about bands that have slightly left of field band names.
Yeah.
Were you ever worried that you'd had bitch in your name just for radio play's sake? As someone with a radio background, I wonder if that would ever cross your mind.
Oh, totally. And I think we had a lot of people at the beginning be like, what are you doing? Like, get rid of the name. But I don't think we were super concerned. We were just doing it for us. We didn't really think about radio or anything. It was more just for fun at the beginning. And then by the time radio that kind of thing was happening, it was too late. So
yeah, you're in too deep at that point. The fans already know you.
But I actually checked. We got a message the other day saying, "Hey, love the music, but God, you've got to get rid of the name." So we're still getting notes on that.
In part of ways, it's it is the shock factor that makes you remember the name so well as well as a new fan. You're like, oh, that's Fuck Bitch Trio. I've got to check them out on the lineup. It's so curious. Were you aligned from the very beginning on what the Folk Bitch Trio sound was going to be? Or did that very much develop as you found yourself?
I think it developed, but I think it's always been just about songwriting and telling the truth, our truth, which sounds a bit cheesy, but I guess that's it's good to be earnest sometimes. And yeah, I think I was really bad at guitar when we first started. We all were kind of not great at our instruments, and we've sort of practiced a bit now. So
that's really surprising.
Well, it was just an experiment in kind of getting our emotions out, I suppose. So was never this intentional thing at the beginning, but now it is.
Take me back to those first days together.
Mm.
How were you writing songs and creating your music then?
We were all doing it separately, so we were all writing basically fully formed songs and then bringing them to each other and then arranging the harmonies and just instrumentally arranging them. And now that's sort of changed. We're writing our second record at the moment and coming together with partially finished songs or just ideas and lyrics, which is, even for us who we've been working together for 6 years, we've been friends for 12 years. They're my best friends in the whole world, and I still get really nervous. We all get really nervous, which is kind of fun. It's like, it means that you care. So yeah. But at the beginning, it was just bringing these songs together and just sort of, molding them to be ours, not just mine.
Yeah, it's interesting that you are sharing the load in the sense of songwriting because, when you listen to your catalogue, it does sound very cohesive. But to not have one person who leads the creative vision and that you all are very much on the same page.
Yeah, I think it helps that we're best friends. We spend a lot of time together.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and we have we live very, very similar lives. Like, we're on tour now. We're on tour most of the year, and it makes it pretty. Like, my experiences are basically Grace and Jeannie's experiences as well. Well, obviously individuals, but yeah, it makes it pretty easy. We have a kind of shorthand with each other, and I think the three of us are pretty locked in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine in the writing room, it's like no conversation needed. You guys could just speak to each other with just looks.
Sometimes, yeah. Yeah.
How do you balance, as an artist that's very well known for very deeply personal stories, especially in your debut album, how do you balance oversharing and stuff that you maybe want to keep to yourself? Or are you guys really music is therapy?
Oh yeah, music is therapy, but I think definitely there's some oversharing on our record. But I think that's kind of okay. I think a lot of the songs we all wrote years ago, and I think all feel very separated from them now. But I think because it's a cathartic release, and it's how we process our lives, and seemingly people they like it, or they identify with some of the things that we're saying. So I think we just try and be truthful to us, and you can embellish a bit, but yeah, I think
Do you ever have moments where you're like, oh, redact that?
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes, like when we were listening to the record, kind of once we kind of got the mixes back, I was just like, oh god, like we're in it now. Like, yeah.
Who are the first people that you show your music to outside of the band?
My sibling.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and my mum. Yeah. But I think we like to keep it pretty private, just between the three of us in the early stages, because it feels like quite a sacred thing for us. But I like to share, so sometimes I'll sneakily show my sibling, but I trust them. So
Are they harsh critics or are they biased opinions?
they're pretty. I think they're honest. They'll tell me what they think. Yeah,
That's good.
which is good. I think it's good to be critical of
Absolutely.
your art.
Yeah, your closest are generally the most critical, aren't they?
Mm.
Do you remember writing your first song together and recording it, and what that was like actually putting that one together?
Yeah, we did. We wrote. Oh, now I'm trying to think back. So yeah, at the start of 2020. Oh God, no. We had about 5 or so songs that we had arranged, and then we took them to the studio and worked with a producer, Anna Labadie, and we had, maybe 5 days where we just recorded, and it was really hard. We were like 18 or 19, didn't really know what we were doing, all perfectionists, and I think since then we've realised that it doesn't have to be perfect, when you're recording, well, for us at least. And it was hard to kind of just be okay with listening back to your voice and listening back to everything.
Yeah. When people say, okay, I had 5 songs arranged and I just took it to the studio, how does
actually
that,
explain.
because there's a lot of emerging artists in the room and a lot of songwriters in the room, and actually getting into a studio and being able to find a producer, someone that you trust and who shares a vision with you is quite hard.
Yeah.
How did you navigate that?
So we've been really, really fortunate to have. So Jeannie, my bandmate, her father is an engineer and an audio engineer, and he has a studio called Audrey Studios in Melbourne. And we would rehearse there, and kind of having access to a studio space so early on was, I think, it's quite rare, and I think we all acknowledge how lucky we were to have that opportunity. And we had met Anna Lavity, I think maybe at a gig or maybe through Craig, Jeannie's father, and organised to go into the studio with these songs that so Gracie, Jeannie and I would rehearse multiple times a week, and often rehearsing would start off with just hanging out and, being 18-year-olds, being a bit silly. And then we would arrange these songs and kind of go through them individually and just practice our harmonies and our guitars. And then once we had kind of 5 or so songs that were mostly kind of finished, we took them into the studio and sat down with Anna and with Craig and sort of went through inspirations for the songs and what we wanted them to sound like. So we had a playlist of songs from other artists that we listened to all together and kind of picked out which bits of the songs we liked and wanted to sort of emulate with our own songs. And then you go into the studio, and for us at that time we were all in different vocal booths, and now we've realised that we like to be in the same room looking at each other. It works better for us and for our craft. I could go further into like what recording processes are like.
Yeah, no, genuinely, I think it's really nice to have an insight of what that actually looks like in the room.
Yeah. Well, I think for everyone it's different, but for us at that time, I think we've kind of completely shifted how we do it now. But at that time, we had a session drummer and a session guitarist and bassist, and they had listened to, we had sent them the demos, so just basically voice recordings, and they had arranged their parts with our influence and what we kind of asked them to do, and they did a pass of their part, and then we sung over the kind of semi-mixed track, and we'd all get into a little booth and sort of try and look at each other through the windows and sing.
Do you recommend that as a strategy for people who are doing their first session, to come in with something that's fully rehearsed, you know it inside out, you know exactly what you want, or have you now evolved into being open to see what happens in the room? That was well timed.
Beautiful, really beautiful. I think for me and for like FBT, like our band, I think for us we're all kind of anxious people, so I think we like to have it organised, and especially because in studios you can't, realistically you're paying for the time that you're in there. If you're you can do it at home in a studio as well, but for what we were doing, you pay for the time, and you kind of you don't really want that to be in the back of your mind, but it kind of is.
Yeah.
And I think we like to have a mostly fully formed idea for a song, and then just the bones, I think, and then you can add like the candy, the fun stuff at the end, and the layers of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does it look now in the studio? Where has that evolved to?
It's a lot more fun because I think we've had a bit of
Less
practice.
stress.
We've spent a lot of time in different studios in Australia and internationally, and I think it's just practice. I think being in environments like that and sort of combating your imposter syndrome, because even now I feel like going to studios, I'm like, absolutely. So I think now we've got a bit of practice, and I think have it's easier for us to say what we want and to ask for more of our vocals in our headphones, and even little things like that. I think at the beginning was quite hard because we didn't know what we wanted, we didn't have the language. So it's a lot easier now, but what we do now is kind of same thing. We go in with mostly fully formed songs, and we have like pre-production, and then so we'll go in with last year, 2024, we recorded our record in New Zealand, and we worked with a producer called Tom Healy, and we had a session with him at Roundhead Studios in Auckland, and we recorded one song and we recorded it to tape, and it was really fun. And we went, okay, great, Tom's the best, let's do this. So we went in for about a month later, and did pre-production where we went through all of the songs that we had. And I think I'm a very visual person, and so are Jeannie and Gracie. So we got these big sheets of butcher's paper and wrote it all out and kind of went, this is what we want. And it's nice to just have a thing to look at
And
to
you tick it off.
Yeah. You get the tick in, it's good. So we recorded at this other studio called The Lab, which was just Tom's studio in an underground, and it smelled really moldy. It smelled like every studio, which I kind of have grown to really love.
Yeah. The lab.
Yeah, The Lab. So we would record one song, just sort of roughly, and then kind of try and finish it in a way, but not super polished, and then have all of the ideas there, and then so that we could, when we went to the proper studio, we could refer back to it and kind of pick out the bits that we wanted to add. And then just things happen naturally, of course, when you're in a space like that and you're creating your art. Like things are gonna change.
Oh yeah.
And then we went to Roundhead and then recorded to tape. And I think having it recorded to tape made it feel very intense. All of our choices were very intentional, because to redo a tape, you had to wind the tape back. I mean, not by hand, but and I think that was really good for us. And maybe it was placebo, but for us, I think that was really good to because our music is so focused on vocals and on our harmonic blend. It was mostly about that, and about being in the room and hearing the room noises, and
Yeah, it's a really nice creative choice doing it that way. When you were saying that you did that first session with Tom Healy and then you were like, he's the one.
Yeah.
Is this something you're actively doing all the time? Is just trialing different producers to then figure out, okay, no, we want to create something bigger with this person?
Yeah. I think sometimes we've worked with a lot of producers, and when we were trying to figure out how we wanted our record to sound, we knew that we wanted to co-produce because we had a lot of ideas, and it's important to us to have a bit of quite a lot of creative control. And I think sometimes producers can maybe put a lot of their voice onto a record and not be able to kind of let the artist have their voice be there, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I think we wanted to work with someone who was willing to, we really wanted it to be a collaborative process, and we've found with Tom that he was very open and a really great listener, and also he kind of just knew how to translate our gibberish into a noise. I think it felt like dating. We were like dating producers. Yeah. And then we met Tom, and he was the love of our life. So
how do you date producers? Like, where are you finding people to get in rooms with?
Yeah, so we have a manager who kind of would organise. He actually personally knew Tom, and we had met Tom just at gigs as well, because he's also a musician and plays in bands. So he was on our radar, and then our manager got in contact with him to ask him if he'd be interested in doing a session. And a session is just you go into a room, any kind of room, probably a studio, and you we'll either do like a writing session or a producing session and just work together. So yeah, our manager, and often producers have their own managers or they're just self-managed, and then we get in contact and basically just organise a play date. Yeah.
So advice would be just be out in your community, keeping an ear to the ground.
Yeah.
Who's coming up?
Definitely, and listening to records, listen to lots of records, and figure out what you like about that record. And I think just listen to a lot of music and figure out what you like.
How were you funding the music creation in the early days before you had a label?
We would take all of the money that we would earn from shows and put it into our band account, and we all had jobs, multiple jobs, and we were playing a lot of shows, a lot of them not paying very well for a long time, but we saved, and then we were really lucky. We did this regional tour that was about a month long, and we did, I think, like 30 shows in that month.
Wow. I don't
And
know how your voices can sustain
it
like
was
that. That's
pretty
incredible.
gnarly, but it was fun, and
Yeah.
we were about 20, I think, and that was, we were paid very well for that tour, and that sort of set us up for being able to do kind of recording. But now grants are a really big part of how a lot of artists can survive and how we have survived. And yeah, it's tough being in, like, we're very lucky to have received as many grants as we have, and it's not something that you can rely on, because you'll apply for 100 grants and often you won't get any, and that's how we do it now. And now we have a label, so we have a bit of extra help as well.
Were you writing grants back in the day?
We were doing it together, but mostly my bandmate Jeannie was
has
doing
applied
it.
for a grant before.
It's,
Oh man,
yes,
that is a mission.
it's hard. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very boring. It's
Gotta
very
do it.
tedious. Yeah.
It's so worth it. Before your album last year, Now Would Be a Good Time, you only had 5 songs out, which is incredible. And I think a lot of emerging artists hear the narrative that you must be releasing every 6 weeks. You got to keep the momentum going. And yeah, you only had 5 songs over 3 years, really.
Yeah.
What was your decision behind that? Or why were you very considered with releases?
I think it was partly considered, partly laziness. I think we really wanted to. I think we did a bunch of recording, and then we weren't super happy with what we created. And then quite early on, we're like, let's release a record, let's do it this year. And that was, I'm really glad that we didn't do that, because it took us like 5 years to actually release our first record. But I think we were just really focused on playing live shows and just, I don't know, really honing that craft of ours. And we love playing live. And I think also we just wanted to make sure the songs were up to scratch. And we also just didn't like set aside the time to do the record until I think we were ready, and then we decided, okay, now would be a good time, and we did it. But it was mostly because we just wanted to play live shows, I think, and then figure out where we're gonna go from there.
Fair enough. Do you remember the first Folk Biz Trio gig?
Yes,
Tell
I
me about
do. It was at the Merry Creek Tavern, which is this little bar in Melbourne, in Northcote or in Westgarth on High Street. And I think we played 3 songs. One of them was How to Make Gravy by Paul Kelly. And it was this gig put on again by Jeannie's mum, who was putting on these songwriters shows at the Merry Creek Tavern. So there were 3 acts. There was us and an artist called Stella Farnan and Georgia Smith, and now I actually play, both of those people play in our band when we do full band shows.
Day one.
Yeah, day ones. And then, we played, I think, 3 songs. It was mostly our families at the front. I think my mum was heckling at me. And in a nice way. It was with love. And yeah, it was really fun and very nerve-wracking.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. How did that then snowball into getting a regional tour? Like, how did you start taking those steps to be able to be booked regularly and finding slots and getting on bills and whatnot?
Well, from there, it was just kind of, I think, word of mouth, and we were just talking to people, and then we were offered another show a couple of weeks later, and then we played another show at the Merry Creek Tavern, and it just sort of naturally happened from there, and also us just going to lots of gigs and talking to musicians, and we just played a lot. Like, we would play sometimes 4 times in a weekend, and just doing that every week. It was difficult, I think, because lockdown. I know it's a hard time for everyone, but lockdown happened, so we, didn't play shows basically for a year and a bit off and on. But from there, we got a booker, so a booking agent. So basically, when you get a booking agent, they will kind of advocate for you and contact promoters, gig promoters, and like put you up for support shows and that kind of thing. I think at the tour that I mentioned before, I'm not sure if we had a booking agent at that point, but we did have a manager.
Yeah.
But we were contacted directly through Woodford. That was the touring promoter.
Yeah.
And
So how did you find your team? I think this is quite an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
You had management first, then a booking agent. Some people just have an agent for gigs before they have management.
Yeah.
So how did this look for Folk Trio, and how did you find your manager?
Yeah, so I think for everyone it's different. For us, we met our manager at that time. We have a new manager now at a gig, and she saw us play and then approached us and asked if we were looking for management. And at that time we were. I think for us, we were very young and didn't know what we were doing. And in life it's always good to have support. So I think in this as well, like it's really, for us it was really important to have a bit of support, because we were all at uni, we all had jobs, we know what we were doing, and having someone there to just even just receive all like the emails that we didn't know how to answer, that kind of thing. So that's how we met our manager Carolyn at the time.
And you still with her?
No, we parted ways a couple of years after that. And then we were self-managed for about a year or so, which was a very good learning experience for us, and I think very good. I think it's good to know what is going on in the music industry and to know how to show up for yourself and to advocate for yourself and know what's going on. Because
what do you mean by that?
I think it's the music industry can be very harsh, and you can be we were young femme people that it can be very hard to stand up for yourself in kind of moments of am I getting paid correctly, all of that kind of stuff. So I think having someone there to show up for you and be there in that way was really good. But also doing it on our own was really good as well, because it just gave us the kick up the bum to know how to.
And it's nice to know what then your manager would do for you and whether they're doing the job correctly if you've been self-managed for a little while. What does a manager do for you as Folk Trio now?
A lot. We have a new manager now who we've been working with for about 2.5 years, and he just kind of does a lot of any emails coming through or any offers kind of comes through to him, and he will basically do a lot of the admin side of the band, the business side, which is pretty boring, I think, for a lot of people. And props to managers, because I think you have to really love the job to do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had management.
Yes.
At what point did you realise you needed a booking agent?
I think when we were getting emails with like offers to play shows for $20. I think that was, and
God, this is just
or for nothing, mostly for nothing. I think, and we were we're like, I think we're worth more than $20. But also, sometimes a gig is a gig, and it's just really fun to play gigs. But yeah, I think we again met our booking agent at a music festival, and he was a booking agent for a bunch of our friends' bands, and we really trusted their judgment and worked with him. Had a meeting. You have lots of coffee meetings, and yeah, and then with booking agents, usually you don't have a contract. It's just kind of a handshake deal, I guess. And yeah, then they just try and get you, kind of tell them what your goals are for gigs, and they'll often just put you up for lots of gigs you might not even know about, and you might, but yeah, they're usually you just have a conversation about what you're wanting to do, and they try and do it, and then hopefully it works out.
Yeah, fair enough. So what does your team look like now?
At the moment, we have a manager, we have booking agents in Australia, in the US, and in the UK and Europe, and then we have a label as well. So with labels, we have our A&R, artist and repertoire, person who we had our first meeting with, and then they kind of they're like your babysitter. I don't know, they do more than that, but they're like your person within the label, and then within that you've got a team of social media people and radio, and there's a big team of people at our label who we all work with directly.
Yeah, and then they all have to be in comms with each other, all the booking agents. When you were approached by Jaguar, which is your label, they're US based.
Yes.
What was that conversation like? What are you looking out for when you're thinking about labels, or give us the blow by blow.
I think just to go right to basics, it's vibe. You're going to be working with these people directly, so having a connection with them, I think for us was really important. And we met with quite a few labels, and label, I feel like you can kind of just you imagine it like the movies, but honestly, it's really just at our label there's about 15 people that we work with who are just people like us trying to do their job, and I think having a proper connection with them is really important for us, because they're our wins are their wins are our wins. So for us, we just wanted to work with people who we felt we aligned with, and Jaguar are an indie label. So yeah, they're indie and major labels, and they're one of the biggest indie labels in the States, I think. And yeah, they work just very directly with their artists, and it's a very kind of not emotional, but just hands-on. And I think that's, for us, very important. But I think lots of labels work very differently, but generally, working hands-on. And yeah, we met with Ophia, our A&R person, and another coffee day, and just got to talking about our record and what we're about, and you're just sort of sussing each other out, I suppose. And then she listened to the record and she really liked it, and she sent it to the rest of the label, and then it just sort of naturally progressed from there, with us talking to them about a label deal.
Okay, I like that. Why did you go with a US label? And what does that look like as an Australian-based band? What's also interesting is that you're so well known internationally, but you have always stayed in Australia as a trio.
I don't know why we went with it. I think at the time we were in America. We were at we'd just been we played South by Southwest, which is a showcasing event in Austin, Texas, and we'd been chatting with a bunch of other labels there. I think we realised that we wanted to, we love Australia, we love playing in Australia, but we also wanted to break out and try and see if we could, play internationally and reach a wider audience. And I think that, having an international label kind of helps with that. And you've got, teams over there to, lift you up, I suppose.
Yeah, and they know the ecosystem.
Yeah, that's the thing. We don't know the ecosystem over there
Yeah.
in the same way that they do.
So have you felt a ceiling in Australia?
I think in a way, yeah. I think that there's definitely a ceiling here, but I also think that there's an amazing community of musicians in Australia that you just don't get anywhere else. And I think that that's, yeah, you can't discredit that. And I think we all love living here and love being in Australia, and it's, you know, it's a beautiful place and it's a beautiful music community. So yeah, there are two things there.
Totally. Do you ever feel the pressure that you need to move overseas though to be in the face of the label, but also just to make it big?
Yeah, I think that we've had little comments from our label saying, so when you move to LA, and I think that in some ways that would work, but I think the way that my bandmates and I work together as collaborative songwriters, and it works for us to be here and to create here, and then to go over and tour there when we want to, when
Tap
we
in,
need it.
tap out.
Yeah,
So
it's also a
that's-
very scary place in America at the moment.
It is.
So yeah, there's that
It is.
reality.
And what I love about you guys is that from this whole chat, you can tell that you're very community focused. You know, gigs were your priority. Making fans through live shows was your priority, and I think that's what has really given you such a loyal fan base that propels you. What is your relationship like with radio play and streaming and social media presence?
Yeah, complicated. I think that social media is kind of a scary place. It's very overwhelming, I think, and I personally try not to engage too much because I find it very overwhelming. But I think it's a necessary part of being a creative at the moment, and that's kind of sad. But also, it means that you're able to reach a bigger audience, and I think that's just the reality. But yeah, I mean, I think we use social media to reach an international and just like at home audience, and it's a great tool. I think I wish that it wasn't the beast that it is, but I think it's a necessary evil.
Do you guys have strategy meetings about how you want to tackle your social media?
Yeah, we have a social media team at JAG, and
What does that look like? Do they
it looks
plan
like
it for you?
so we have a calendar, and they say, can you post this type of thing at this point? And they'll say, okay,
A lot of pressure.
TikTok time. I hate TikTok. We all hate TikTok. So we will reluctantly post a little like, hey.
So if you see it, you like it, you know that they're dying on the inside.
But I also get why people use it, because there are so many artists that have gotten their big break on TikTok or on Instagram or whatever it is. And, you know, no shade to that. Like that's also great. But I think for us, it's not how we started and not how we want to
be remembered.
But it's a tool. It's a tool that you can use to your advantage, I think. And it's just figuring out how that works for you and how much time and energy you want to put into it.
Do you edit your videos?
I have edited some of our music videos, but not our social media videos. But generally, my bandmate Jeannie is in charge of the social media, of the posting, and I thank her every day for that.
Nice to delegate.
Yeah.
Yes,
you must delegate.
I imagine splitting your brain between the creative of your music, but then also having to be consistently and continually reaching your audience via social media and keeping up with the trends is just a whole other beast, and it can be really such a strain on the artistry.
Yes, yeah, it sucks the love out, I would say. So we try to just dip in and out when we have to.
Yeah, and you don't have to be posting every single day.
No, I don't think so. But I also think that it does. You can see the data. It does work for some people. So yeah, I think for us, we seem to be at an okay place without it.
Have there been any lessons that you've learned from the social media team at the label that you can share?
Any lessons?
Any things that you're like?
I've learned that they are very patient with us. I think that Well, I guess I've learnt that you can really go deep with the social media. I think I feel really bad that we are sometimes a little bit lazy with the social media.
What do you mean by go deep?
You can be posting for in some of their eyes. You should be posting every day, multiple times a day. You like for engagement and everything, and it does work. I think, but I think we just don't want to do that.
Mm.
Yeah.
So when they come up with their content schedule, what sort of stuff are they asking for?
I think generally, they are asking for just us to be ourselves, and I think that that works for us because we don't want to be posting stuff that's not genuine and that feels fake because everyone can tell when something's fake. So yeah, I think we've reached a really good place with our social media team. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
No, I'm just trying to break it down in a way that's very, because I can imagine a lot of emerging artists here would see social media and then creation. You're like, where do I come up with the ideas? Where do I get the idea generation? If I have to be doing this every day for the rest of my life, that's a lot of ideas. And so, and I know a lot of bands approach social media with content pillars. So on a Monday, we might shoot something that's in the studio. On a Wednesday, we might shoot something that's a bit more writing session wise.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious whether you guys break it down into things that are a bit more accessible and easy to understand.
Yeah.
So that you can come up with creation.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, we'll post like videos of us singing together,
Yeah.
or photos of us in the studio. I think when we were doing our album cycle, so that's just when you start teasing out singles like songs and content, we were definitely posting a lot more and doing a lot more kind of face to camera stuff and just. But I think for us it works better if it's just candid, like phone photos or digicam photos for us or whatever it is. Yeah.
You don't have to invest in the high risk.
No, you don't have to have all of the equipment. I don't think. I think that you just try your best with what you've got.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I think what makes Focus Trio cut through as well is that there's so much magic in the three of you in the room, and the clips of you guys singing together and how tight their harmonies are. It's just incredible. That's the stuff that I love to watch.
Thank you.
You have been in a band since high school.
Yeah, right at the end of high school. Yeah.
Right at the end of high school. How have you made it work together? Because sometimes being in such a tight-knit trio can be very difficult, or in a tight-knit band can be very difficult.
Yeah.
What do you think has kept you together?
I think being very deliberate with the time that we do spend with each other outside of the band. I think making time. Yeah, it's kind of like we're in a three-way marriage. Like, we're best friends and we're business partners or business trio. And yeah, I think working on the relationship side of it, and we're just very close and we speak a lot about our feelings and about our boundaries. But yeah, Gracie and I are my bandmate. We used to live together and we lived together for a couple of years or 4 years during the band, and don't do that. Don't live with your bandmates. I think, we love each other very much, but there's a point where you need to have some professional boundaries, I think. But yeah, we just try and be very patient and loving with each other, I think. Yeah, to be cheesy about it. Yeah.
Totally. How do you manage burnout and like being on tour for so long? I know that you guys are constantly here, there, everywhere.
Yeah.
How do you manage yourself?
I rest wherever I can, and I think all three of us now, I think because we maybe got all of the not all of it, but the rat bag kind of vibes out early on with, having access to free alcohol all the time when you're 18 and, like a young adult, I think was very exciting. But then you kind of hit the point where you're like, I have to play 6 shows this week. I'm not going to do that. So I think when we're on tour, it's pretty boring. We just play the show. We try and eat really well. We try and rest and have alone time when we can. It's not it can, it's funny because you can have these really high highs and then really low lows when you're on tour. And I think, yeah, being very deliberate with how you spend your time, because it's a lot of waiting around. They don't tell you that being a musician, you're waiting around a lot. So, you know,
The rock star lifestyle is
you're
what
in purgatory a lot. You're at the airport, or you're in the hotel lobby, or you're in the car, or you're waiting backstage, you're at the bus, you know, you're on a train with 6 bags and trying to, you know, not have a meltdown. But yeah, I think just trying to look after yourself. That's just getting back to basics and just doing the boring stuff.
Treat it as if it's your everyday life.
Yeah.
100%. So where do you see Folk Bitch Trio in 5 years?
Ooh, I think hopefully
Stadiums.
Stadiums. I think hopefully just still playing shows and writing songs and doing it together. I think it's, you know, not a super exciting 5-year thing I've just imagined, but yeah.
Is there anyone that you guys have on the vision board? Like, oh, I want to collab with this person. I want to work with this producer. I want to play a show here.
Oh, I mean, you know, shoot for the moon, I suppose. Playing a really big international show, like headline, would be really awesome. And producer and artist wise, I don't have anyone like in my mind particularly, but like my first thing is I want to keep working with my friends. I think that's a big thing.
Really nice.
I don't know. I don't like it's. I think, you know, we've had a taste of the world that is, you know, LA, and being, you know, out there with whoever, like, you know, big, you know, we've met artists that we really admire, and that's really fun. But sometimes it's just nice to like be doing it together, and yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what
That's
keeps
boring, but
the longevity alive as well, is that first and foremost, it's just keeping the core group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We're going to open up to questions very soon, but before I do that, one last question. If you were sitting in this room today, is there one piece of advice that you wish you heard at the beginning of your career?
Yeah, enjoy it. I think just take the time to like just enjoy your own creativity and what you're doing, and like it, and just like try and do your thing and be yourself, and just enjoy it while it's happening. I think that'll be
Yeah,
mine.
stop and smell the roses.
Yeah,
Don't stress
stop and
too
smell the
much.
roses for sure.
It can be stressful.
Yeah.
All right, let's pass it over to you guys. Has anyone got any questions for Heidi? This is your chance. She's in the room. They're in the room. Here. Do we need an extra microphone, or do you wanna just yell? We're pretty close, actually. Yeah. Yeah.
I guess my question's around like songwriting, particularly when you're collaborating with a band. And I know you guys are close now, but when you are writing in a collaborative setting, how do you, or even do you, remove the personal element of what you've written and be able to like take feedback and cut things out, change words when it's something that is so personal to you? Like, how do you kind of work through that?
Yeah, I think that can be kind of difficult, and it just takes practice for us. Like I still, as I said before, I feel very nervous when I show a song to Gracie and Jeannie, but I also trust that they're going to, you know, we all want each other to succeed, I suppose. So I think when you're working with other people, I think just, hopefully you're working with people that you can take feedback from. But I think it's hard to bare your soul like that sometimes. But I think it can be very vulnerable. But I think just kind of going with the scary feeling and doing it anyway. I think that would be my advice. If that helps.
Brilliant. Up the back.
Building off that question, that you're talking about working with a producer.
Yeah.
Speed dating with them. Vibe aside, humour, you like them. What are some of the positive experiences you've had walking out in one of those sessions where you're like, you know, the lyrics and arrangement, like, because you mostly write songs on acoustic guitar. What are they bringing to it that you would feel like it's like bread and butter? Like, you walk out and like, oh, that was, I didn't realize that was a good taste. That's
Well, I'm thinking about a time in particular. We worked with this producer in Los Angeles a couple of years ago, and we had just been working with a bunch of producers who I think didn't really hear us. I think being heard, I think, is the main thing. And we went in, and he just added a bunch of to be really specific, just like lots of sort of like reverberant layers and stuff like that, and just sort of lifted what the kind of the basics of that song in particular up. And I think and was just really inquisitive and interested in what we wanted. And I think that is has been the most kind of rewarding thing for us, is to be heard. I know it's very basic, but yeah, to go in and to be heard, and then not only heard, but sort of like lifted up from that, if that kind of answers your question. Yeah.
Brilliant. Down here.
Hey, my name's Anthony Snowfun Mars. Myself. I'm wondering if there's anything you can remember going back, a decision or key people in your life that made had the biggest effect on opening up the opportunity to speak to national shows and connecting people like in Australia as well. Like, is there a particular key person, or was it a collective of events that happened that opened doors?
No, that's a great question. Yeah, I think I'm looking back at like the first tour that we ever did, and that was it was after we'd done Big Sound, which is another showcasing event in Brisbane, and we had a promoter called Jet Black Cat promote the show. I think we did 4 shows, and it felt like the most exhausting few days of our lives. But yeah, moments like that, like having Shan at Jet Black Cat kind of believe in us and say, yeah, I'm going to take you on a tour, and then having other promoters reach out, and just other artists, just even having us as a support slot. I think just having other people hear your music and see you and believe in it. People like Shan, and then we've had promoters who have introduced us to. We had a promoter introduce us to our now good friend M Ward, and he, if we hadn't met Matt M Ward, we wouldn't have had the opportunity to go on tour in America. And now, without that, we wouldn't be where we are now. So yeah, meeting again artists and having connection with artists and people in the industry who believe in you and who like what you're doing, and yeah.
So from a planning perspective, looking back, you look like, oh, that happened.
Yeah, it's not linear, and it's no. Yeah, I think just going and playing shows and like just being in the rooms, I think, and meeting people, and staying after the shows as well and talking to people. Yeah. Follow up, and also just advocate for yourself. Just say you want something. Just tell the people.
Yeah, brilliant. You had your hand up the back.
Just building on that idea, you said that you had a regional tour which paid you well.
Yep.
By the time you've got a manager and a booking agent, obviously they're taking a cut.
Yes.
How do you balance that expansion so that you're still getting paid? And how do you make that decision that it's not worth working for nothing? Because obviously a lot of young artists think,
Yep.
if I work for nothing, at least I'll get my face out there.
Yeah.
How do you manage that process?
Yeah, well, no, that's a great question. I think, for us, I think we were we've been very lucky to have opportunities like that, and to just to save. I think, and I know that it's everyone's experience will be different, and I can't speak to everyone's experience, obviously, but I think managing your expectations with because generally managers will take 20% of whatever you earn, or for us, and then a booking agent will take 10% of your live shows. So it's a very hard thing to sort of navigate, especially when you're working. We were all working individually, and also putting our own money that we're earning from our part-time jobs into the band. And I think, I'm sorry, I'm not really answering your question here, but Yeah, I think just like I don't know, like believing that it might work out was also just I don't know. We were just I know that's so not helpful, but yeah, I don't know how to expand on this. Sorry.
Yeah. I feel like there's
It's a hard
there's-
one.
It is hard. I think also, like, yeah, how do you know that that is the pathway you want to take in that? Did
Yeah.
you move back home at all? Or
Yes.
were you?
Yes. Yeah, I currently live with my mother. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's not like super glamorous, but yeah, we all had to have had to at points move back in with our parents, and we're lucky that we can do that. But it's not we don't do it for the money or the, like, you know, there's not a lot of money in, like, even though we're touring internationally, we're often losing money. I guess that's maybe what I should say, is that when you are, which is, you know, maybe not the most inspiring thing to hear, but I think, I have to be honest about that you're often working at a loss, especially when you're touring internationally, and we would not be able to do it without the support of grants and having had opportunities early on that paid kind of well.
Yeah. How do you weigh up touring at a loss?
Mhm.
Because I imagine that's a really tricky conversation to have. It's like, we could go to the States, we could really do this. But
Yeah.
we're losing.
Yeah, I think that's a big question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're in it now. We're pretty committed to what we're doing.
It's an investment.
It's an investment. I think it's an investment in ourselves and our career, and it doesn't make it easier. And we've also been really lucky with, as I said, some of the shows that we've played too. But yeah, now I think we are being we're at a stage where we can be strategic with how we play shows in Australia and how, with our fees and that kind of thing.
Definitely. Over here. Yes.
Yeah, hi. My name is Tessa Cole. I was thinking while you were speaking of Australian trio Bee
Yeah.
and I was wondering whether the different songwriters and voices in your group would actually have their own hit song that they might be known for as a solo artist as your future starts to unfold and develop. I was thinking like Robin Gibb had that song I Started Joe, and Barry Gibb is known for his work as a solo artist and also as a duo artist with other female artists that enjoy it as well. So I just wondered, do you see things like that with songs that are in the pipeline now that would specifically sound better with a particular voice of one of the three of you?
Ooh. I'm glad that Gracie and Jeannie aren't here because yes, I have a hit written. Well, yeah, this is it. I think that I think we're all individual songwriters, so and we all have, I think, different strengths within our songwriting that when we come together, it's even stronger, I would say. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely opportunities for us to go off on our own and even just write. We could write for someone else as well. But I don't think any of us are particularly interested in doing that because we're so committed to this project working out and being our kind of sole focus. But I think like, for example, I really like writing instrumental guitar stuff separate from this project. So if I wanted to do something like that, I could potentially. But yeah, I think we're all very focused and driven with this at the moment. But yeah.
And I like what you said, that it's the magic that happens when the three of you come together.
Yes.
Because that's actually something that we actually said as well, that it's that actual three of them together.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think, yeah, exactly. There's a magic with bands that, yeah, work together that I think you just can't emulate on your own. Yeah, that's okay.
All right, we'll probably have time for like 3 more questions. So we'll do 1, 2, and 3. Brilliant.
Hi, I'm Jess, Foxing Pregnancy. I was wondering, based on how you're talking about the beginning of your career into it now, how did you manage your time with the music and your job? I already loves to work the last month by day.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you find, like, what was the discipline like compared to, like, now?
Yeah, I think early on, I was working a couple of like pub jobs and doing uni, and I think sometimes being really, really bored is really helpful for creativity. And I think that, yeah, well, yeah, I think, you know, working at, and also being around people for me was really helpful, but it was like a pressure cooker, I guess. Like it made, I'm the same, like I love to fill up my days, maybe to my detriment, but yeah, I think that's how, like, yeah, I would get home from a shift maybe at 4 a.m. and maybe I would write a little something. And I think for me, I'm always kind of, the cogs are turning, I think, with songwriting. So I'll go off and write a note, or I'll, like, if I'm at dinner or something, I will like remove myself and go use my voice recorder and
I think there's a difference between like writing and recording something, ideas and something that actually people do movement.
yeah, yeah,
Especially the online stuff.
yeah,
That's,
yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that takes a lot of my focus.
Yeah.
At the moment. I feel like, do you think that there was a difference between now and how you guys get together or individually?
I think now I'm definitely more deliberate with the time that I spend writing songs. I'm still doing all of those things, but every day I'll try and take at least, like, even if it's just 10 minutes. I think because now I'm not working, I'm doing this full time. I have the privilege that I can carve out time every day to do that. And I will, you know, sit on my laptop or with my notes and my guitar or whatever it is and just do the thing, even if it's boring, even if I write a really bad song, which you've got to write 100 bad songs. You've got to just, I think it's practice, and it's just like creating your time. But I think even when you're busy, even if it's hard and you feel like you don't want to do it, I think carving out a little bit of time every day to just have some kind of release, even just for yourself. Yeah.
Up the back.
Hi, I'm just wondering, mobilization perspectives, you said it means you can do so much. You said that, you know, at times you're losing money on international leagues and things like that. But do you think having that international exposure, I suppose, on one hand, getting signed to an American label, and on the other, being gigs overseas, do you think that's really helped with the increase in your audience and their exposure?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's like, yeah, you say working at a loss, I think it's a loss financially, but often the opportunities that come from working at a loss financially are bigger and will lead to more opportunities down the line. If that's a question. Yeah.
I'll just do 1 more question. Was it green shirt? Sorry, I promised this one.
Hi, my name is Usman. When you just started, are there any criteria how you choose your producer, how you choose your manager? What was important for you?
Yeah, I guess as I said earlier, just if you get along, if you can tell, you can tell when you've met a good person, I think, and it's a basic answer, but I think, and also talking to other people who might know the manager or who.
Like famous or maybe with big experience, or was important for you, or?
What was the?
For example, you are treating someone.
Yeah.
You look for the experience,
Yeah, definitely. I think it's good to look at like what they have been able to accomplish, I suppose, and that's definitely important, I think. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks for all your questions, everybody. Heidi, you're doing a workshop later, hey?
Yes.
All right, so you can you can spin more of those questions a little later, I'm sure. But a round of applause for Heide.
Thanks, everyone.
Oh, you learned something. Okay.
You keep it going for Ash as well. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for that wonderful keynote and all your insights and experience. Okay, we're going to take a quick 15, maybe 12-minute break now, guys, before the panel section. So just grab a drink. There's plenty of food at the back, so please have a nibble on some watermelon or something like that. Head to the bathroom before we come back in. Stretch your legs. Back in here at 11:30 sharp, please, for the panel. Thank you, everyone.